friends, and welcome back to the Bold and Burn YouTube channel. My name is Emily and I am here today to talk about Clue 4 of the Rujuu sweater by Jeanette Knits. This is the Rujuu sweater so far up through Clue 3. Clue 3 also has you put the collar on. As I mentioned in my previous video, I'm going to be waiting to put the collar on until a little bit later in the process just because I'm still deciding a couple of things, and so I didn't want to put that on there just yet. But as a refresher, this is where we're at. I've got this on some try-on cord, and then Clue 4 just came out last night, and there is going to be a little bit of texture, a decent chunk of color work, and a little bit more texture. So what I get to do from here is I get to pick out my next color C. So let me grab the other color options that I have, and I haven't looked at it yet. This is the first time I've pulled this out since finishing Clue 3, so it's been a few days. So I'm going to pull out these colorways and kind of look at them and decide which color I'm going to do next. Okay, so here are my color C's. This one right here is the one that I used in Clue 1, so I don't actually have that much of it. I need to weigh it and see how much I have left, but I'm probably not going to use this for... Well, it depends. If we get a smaller color work chart, I might be able to use it for the body, but realistically, I'm probably going to see if I can save this for if there's any color work in the sleeves and do that there, because there's just, I think it's probably about 25 grams or something. So these are the other colors that I have. And I was thinking about doing, since I've got blue, then kind of a greeny blue, then purple, I was thinking about doing a blue next, but I actually have 3 purples and only 2 blues, so I'm not sure. Because I think this one would look really nice. You can't see it at all. That one would look quite nice. These are the 2 blues. I think if I was going to do blue, well, I don't know, because this one is more of a tealy blue, kind of like this top one. And then, let's see. That purple is kind of close. I do really like this one. This one's indigo heather. And like the variance in color there is amazing. So I do really like that one. I think this one is too close to this purple. So that one's a no-go. Dump the blue. I don't know. If I did the darker purple, then it would almost be a reflection of this, where we've got like a lighter blue and a darker blue. We'd have a lighter purple and a darker purple. Oh, but that's actually something I should take into consideration. It's being combined with color B, and this is the color B that I'm using. Those are too close in my mind. So I think it would need to be one of these two. There's probably enough contrast there. This obviously has the most contrast. I think I'm leaning towards this one. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. So yeah, I think we're going to go with that one. I really, really like this one. This one is Calypso Heather, which is another tealy blue. I think that one will be really nice. It is kind of tricky figuring this out because I don't know exactly what the rest of the sweater is going to look like. Are we going to have, like, am I going to end up having like 3 purples in a row because we have that much? But I don't know. Because that's the other part too that I have had the thought is that realistically I'm probably not going to knit this as long as the pattern calls for, depending, just because I never do. I don't like super, super long things. I'm pretty short-waisted. So I do expect that I will be using less color C than the pattern calls for, just because I am planning to make it a little bit more cropped. So hopefully it'll all work out and I'll be able to do this and then another purple and then another blue and then another purple, and that'll work. But anyway, that is all the update that I have for you for right now. Like I said, I haven't even started on it. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know if I mentioned that in this video. I'm tired. We've had kind of a crazy week, and so I'm just going to sit and work on some other projects. But I might pick this up tonight or possibly this weekend. My husband has some stuff that he's doing. He's going to be hanging out with his brother, and so I'm going to have a free evening, if you will, where it'll just be me and the kids, and hopefully the kids will cooperate and be in bed. So it will be me and the knitting and maybe a movie. But yeah. we'll see. We'll see if this ends up getting some work this weekend. But that is where we're at. That is my update, and I'll be back when I have more to show you. Hi friends, I am back to do another quick little update here on clue 4. That was a Rujuu sweater. I have not made much progress. I'll be honest, I haven't really wanted to be working on this hardly at all. We've had a lot of stuff going on. We had kind of a rough end of the week last week, and then my 1-year-old has been teething, so my sleep has just been really poor. And so I've been exhausted and low energy pretty much every day, and it's just been a lot. It's been a lot, and I have not felt in the mood to tackle color work. So I've been focusing on some of my other projects that are simple, stocking it in the round sort of a situation. But I've done a little bit of work on this, and I thought my camera battery died. I have picked this up and worked on it a little bit, and I thought I'd quickly update you because I just started the first row of the color work chart last night, and I'm hoping to get a wiggle on with this just because the next clue comes out tomorrow night, and I would like to, as much as I can, stay on track with this so I can get it done in a reasonable amount of time. And yeah, so I have finished the texture section, and I had to do something a little bit funny that I actually absolutely love. I love it so much. In clue 4, there is a section of texture, then there's a section of color work, and then another section of texture. And I was not a fan of the first section of texture that was put in there. It just looked a little funny to me. I was kind of worried that it was going to be in a sort of awkward spot on my bust, if it was going to be right over. I was just like, I'm going to swap that out, and instead, let's see if I can show you this without showing you what I did. There's this section, which is what the second texture section, hopefully this is making sense, is a repeat of this. So what I have decided to do instead of doing the other texture thing is just to do 2 sections of this same like slip stitch garter detail texture. So I was like, well, maybe what I can do is, I was trying to decide when to swap out my colors and how to do that. And I decided to try and continue to carry this same purple up there. You can see. To carry this same purple for color C all the way through this texture section, and then swap color C in the color work. As you can see, that didn't work. I ran out just before the end of the final row for the first garter, this section. And I ended up running out. At first I was like, oh, this is perfect. I at least made it across the front. It'll be fine. And then I realized, no, my beginning of the round is on the front, not on the back. So I made it across the back, and then I ran out. And so then what I ended up doing is I just swapped it for, and you can hardly even tell. Let me see if I hold it up here. I'm trying to make sure I don't lose my stitches. I really need to get some stitch stoppers on here, but I just haven't done that yet. Can you see it? Yeah, in this lighting you can see it a bit more. In person, it's almost impossible to tell. But yeah, you can kind of see how over here it's all of that one color, and then over on this side you can kind of see I had to swap to the other purple, this one, the Lullaby, for the last, like, I don't know, maybe 20 stitches or something. And then what I did is I worked the 2 rounds of color B, and then I went ahead and swapped my color C. And I love how it looks. I almost wish that this first section looked that way, where it had the 2 different colors. And I hadn't thought about it until just now, but I'm probably going to intentionally try and do that on the next section, where I carry, if I have enough, I use this teal color C for the first round, and then whatever color C I'm using next, use it for the next round, or the next band. Because I love it. I love how it looks. It's so fun. It's almost like little ribbons that are woven through. So yeah, I'm really happy that I swapped out that texture. I'm really happy that this was a happy accident, that I didn't have quite enough of my purple, this purple, whatever color that was, I don't remember now. Is it in here? No, that's the mink heather. Amethyst heather, I think that's what it was. I didn't have quite enough of that. I think it just looks so fun. So that's where I'm up to on Clue 4. Like I said, I've just started the first row of the color work. I'm going to try and chug through it a little bit here during nap time. Again, I just want to do simple knitting. Of course, after I pick like the most complicated color work project I've ever worked on, that's when the baby decides to start teething. Like, come on, can't you time it a little better? It's fine. Yeah, so, and then I swapped my color A back to the fisherman's wool, which is this one. I was really going back and forth on trying to carry this color A through this section, but I just wasn't convinced that I was going to have enough. Like, I weighed it and I had about 22 grams left, and this section of color work, it used, so I had a 50 gram skein to start with, so what is that, 28? It used 28 grams. And I was like, well, maybe it would be enough because, you know, half of this chart was with all of the sleeve stitches too. So maybe it would be enough. And I was like, you know what? I really just don't want to monkey around with it and risk running out right at the end again. I don't think it would look as seamless to then swap it out for something else because it is very much a darker color. And again, I can use that color A for the sleeves or possibly later in the body if there is another smaller section of color work. I can use it for that. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna sit, do a little bit. Oh, I love how that looks, and I love how these two look together. They just look perfect. So that's where we're at. I will update you when I get more done. Okay, I'm going to give you a little update on my Rujuu sweater. I have been working on this mainly in the evenings, at which time it's really hard to film because light. And so I wanted to quickly share it with you now. I'm not quite done with Clue 4, but I'm very, very close. And so I know that unless something wild happens, I'm going to get Clue 4 done tonight and I won't be able to film an update, and I would like to get started on Clue 5, so I don't want to wait. So I'm going to update it now. Oh my goodness, my yarn is every which way. I thought I'd share with you where I'm at now, and then tonight I can work on finishing up Clue 4 and start Clue 5. So I think once I'm done with Clue 5, I definitely need to put it back on some try-on cord and try it on. Because Clue 5 is, I should say, I'm planning to combine Clue 4 and Clue 5 all into one video because Clue 4 has taken me a lot longer and Clue 5 is a chunkier clue. It's basically just finishing out the whole body of the sweater. And so I'm just going to combine all of that into this one vlog and leave it at that, and that'll make it a little bit easier than trying to do separate videos. And so once I get done with Clue 5, I need to try it on and see where we're at. I need to get some stitch stoppers. I'll put some in here. Let me see. I'm going to steal these from this bag right now so that I can not worry about pulling the stitches out. So here we go. Here's how we're looking. Oh, I'm so pleased with this. It's looking so good. So, like I did with this section here, again, it is still going to be a little bit hard to see. It's pretty overcast outside. But on this section of this texture, I did half of it in one color, half of it in the other color, and then I have swapped my color B back to my first color B, which this is the, what is it? Amber Heather. I love this colorway. I honestly would not complain if I had an entire sweater in this colorway. Like, that would be amazing. I would be so happy. So I'm definitely going to keep that in mind because this is just Knit Picks yarn, and so I'm sure I could probably get a sweater's quantity maybe in the palette if they had this in the palette, which is a fingering weight non-superwash yarn. But even if I did it in the wool of Andy's, like, oh, I love it. That's a tangent. So I've swapped back to that one. And then I did the first half of this texture bet, and then I have just started adding in my new color C. So you can hardly see it right now. if you can see it at all, but it is it this one? Nope, not that one. This one. Which is the Blackberry colorway, which is a very deep purple. It's not quite as dark as it is showing on the screen, but it's a really lovely purple. I think those will go together very well. And then when I get to the color work for Clue 5, I'm going to use this Oyster Heather as my color A, just to kind of change it up a little bit. I'm slightly worried that it's going to look a little bit funny. I might take that back and I might actually just use, I don't know, I'm a little torn because I know that I'm going to need to use this one and I feel like I probably should have used it earlier. My worry is that this Fisherman's Wool that I've been using for this is more of a cooler tone and this is much warmer, like almost pinky, but maybe when it's combined together it'll be fine. I think that's what I'm gonna stick with that, just because I need to use it, and so it needs to come into the sweater at some point, even if it's at the bottom. And I think with it being combined with, it's gonna be this chart, and so for this chart the color C is the dominant color, and so I think that will help blend it in because the darker purple is going to be more of the emphasis rather than the almost pinky creamy white. So that's the plan. That's where we're at on that. And yeah, we're getting there. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of over color work at this point. I've just finished this this whole color work sweater, and then to just do all of this color work sweater. I was kind of expecting it to be a partial color work, like more of a color work yoke, but this is very much not a colorwork yoke. It is a colorwork sweater, colorwork cardigan. So I am kind of done with the colorwork, and I'm not going to be shocked if the sleeves are fully colorwork too, so I'm not really anticipating that, but we're going to keep chugging along. We're going to get it done, because I do have to say, I do love it. It is looking wonderful, and I'm going to be very proud of it when I get it done, but I'm ready to be done. So that's how we're looking now. I will pop back on and update you when I have any further updates to share with you. Hello friends, welcome back. I have a little update for you. I have not finished Clue 5 yet, but I thought I would share with you where I am at in the process. Let me see, where are my stitch stoppers? Where did I put those? Uh-oh. Oh well, I will show it to you without the stitch stoppers in and just try and be very careful. Oh, this thing is getting big. My plan is to finish up the Clue 5 colorwork chart and then to put it on some try-on cord and try it on. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I have like maybe, I can't remember if it's like 4 more rows or something. So it is coming along. It is coming along quite well. Oh, I really like how this has come out. Like, it is just so lovely. And I'm getting better at color work. The rows that have like 7 or 5 stitch floats are less overwhelming, and I feel like I'm staying fairly quick with them, which is wonderful. And I feel like I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm going to finish chart 5, and then I have a feeling that I would probably be ready for ribbing at that point. I'm pretty short-waisted, and just based off of like right now the measurement for this at the waist, this is before finishing chart 5 and before any sort of ribbing, is already, let's see here, at 10 inches, and I know for this one I want it to be a little bit longer than I normally do my pullovers, because my pullovers, that measurement under there is between, it's around 10 inches with ribbing and everything is what I typically end up liking. So with this one I'm expecting it to be a little bit longer because it's more like a jacket cardigan sort of a thing. It's like a layering piece. It's definitely going to go over top of stuff. Whereas with my pullovers and whatnot, they usually go over top of dresses and things, and so I need them a little bit shorter so that they end more at my natural waist. So yeah, I'm pretty sure once I finish this, I'm just going to move straight to ribbing, which part of me is a little bit sad because I love how these, the brick texture sections look, where I did it where they're in 2 color. I think that's so fun, and I'm like slightly tempted to put another one in between the color work and the ribbing, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just go straight from the color work into the ribbing. But yeah, then once I get that done, I'm thinking I may go back and put the neckband on now, and just see what that does. And then I think I'm going to take a page out of Shauna Stitches, a page out of her book, and just not bind off the ribbing and just leave it, and just make sure that the sleeves and the neckband and everything don't change the length to where I need more or less length. So that's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to sit down on the couch. I haven't been able to work on this all that much. The next clue comes out tonight, but it's just been a little bit challenging to work on this one because my baby's nap times have shifted and changed, and so I can't really work on this one when the boys are around just because I need to focus a little bit too much, but we're getting there. This is going to be so warm. Which on a day like today it's supposed to get up to like 70 something, like at least 70 Fahrenheit. And so the thought of wearing that on a day like today, like I'm getting a little bit flushed and warm just in this little cardigan. So yeah, but then in a couple days we're supposed to be back down to highs in the 30s, and something like this would come in quite useful. But that's my update for now. I'm going to try and work on this a little bit before the baby gets up from his nap pretty imminently, and yeah. Okay, another little Rujuu update. I'm still working away on clue 5. I had actually, I'm showing you because I've made a decision and I'm going to be ripping out some things. So I had started the ribbing here, and I've done, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 rounds or something on there, and I was doing this in this. I love this wool yarn in the color Biscuit from Hobby Lobby. It's a discontinued yarn, I think. I got it on clearance and I haven't seen it since, so that's why I say I think. I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't think doing the edgings in cream is what I want to do. What I am going to do instead is I'm actually going to rip it out. I'm going to use my fisherman's wool, my brown fisherman's wool in the Nature's Brown colorway, for at least the bottom ribbing. I just think it's going to look better. I think it's going to be more cohesive. It's going to pull out the browns from the body. Now I'm almost wishing that I hadn't used this fisherman's wool in the body, that I had just alternated the other wool of the Andes yarns. So I've got this brown that's like this kind of rusty brown up here, and then this more flat brown, and then I went into the fisherman's wool, then I went back into the rusty brown, and I kind of wish I just kind of alternated them, but it's fine. Yeah, so I'm going to rip that out, and I'm going to get the ribbon going in the brown, and I think that's going to look so much better. I like that idea. I think this one is just a little bit too close to the color A that I've been using in the body, but I've been using all different colors of color A, so I'm running low on some of those color A things. And so for the sleeves, we've gotten clue 6 at this point. I'm not going to talk too much about it right now. And it's full color work on the sleeves. So I think having some extra color A option is going to be great. And so I'm just going to probably use this brown for all of my ribbing, but we shall see from there. So let's get this frogged and restarted. Not the whole thing, just the ribbing. If I was frogging the whole thing, I would not be doing this again. I'm pretty over color work. Let's just say that clue 6 is not what I wanted clue 6 to be, and it is a massive clue, and I'm more than a little intimidated by it, and it's really making me not want to work on this sweater. So I'm just trying not to think about it. I'm just doing ribbing right now. That's what I'm doing. So that's the update. Okay, I am here to film the last snippet or the outro for this vlog for clues 4 and 5. I ended up deciding to go ahead and knit the rib and cast off the rib. I think I mentioned before that I was thinking about leaving it not bound off, but I decided to go ahead and bind it off. Let me scooch this way. I have a video clip that I took of me wearing it so that you can see full length. It would just be kind of hard to show it on this camera, so I took it with my phone. I'll pop that up there, and then I have a couple of pictures. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with it. I am not looking forward to sleeves. So that is making me feel kind of meh about this project, just because it's going to be a lot of work. But there we go. There it is. I'm pretty thrilled with it. I'm pretty thrilled with my color choices and the way that I've done it. Like, it looks really fun. I think the sleeves will be fun in the aspect that they're going to still be scrappy, so I'm going to be using different colors, different color C's for these different ones. So this is just going to be all over scrappy, and I think it's going to look really cute. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it now. I think after I finish it, I'll do kind of a wrap up, my final thoughts of the pattern overall. But for now, I'm just glad to have the ribbing done. I'm glad to have the body done. I'm probably going to go back and pick up and do the neckband now, and then do the sleeves. So, we shall see. Thank you for following along with this video, and I will see you hopefully soon for the next one. Bye!